Both presidential campaigns will be laser focused on the battleground state of Pennsylvania over the next few months.
Just yesterday, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg made several stops right here in the mid-state. Kayla Schmidt is live in Lancaster with the secretary this morning. Good morning, Kayla.
Yes, good morning to you, Allie and James. You said it, the U.S. Transportation Secretary making several stops across central PA all day on Tuesday. And joining me now live is the Secretary himself. Secretary, thank you so much for joining us this morning on 27 Daybreak.
Thanks, really happy to be with you.
Awesome. So talk to me about your trip yesterday. Tell me what you took away from the day.
Well, it's been a great visit to the region. We started with a walking tour of Lancaster. I was with Mayor Sirachi and seeing how we're going to be able to take $12 million of funding from President Biden's infrastructure package, use it to address some of the places where there have been crashes through our Safe Streets for All program. Then we went to the steel facility, the famous steel facility in Steelton, Cleveland Cliffs. Great for me to be able to see how all of those railroads that are crisscrossing America are actually made. Of course, a lot of other important products too, but a huge railroad business. And you know, we're in a moment of almost unprecedented improvement and upgrades on the rail infrastructure of the country. Then we're in Harrisburg looking at the airport and improvements we're making there, jet bridges, the baggage system, things you probably won't notice as a passenger, but they'll definitely make your experience better. So great to be here on the ground, out from Washington, seeing how these dollars are going to use.
And speaking of Washington, you said during a press conference yesterday how different it is talking about these projects on the Hill versus coming and seeing them in person. So what did you feel about that?
That's right. It's really important to me that these projects aren't just numbers on a page. We've got 54,000 projects and counting going on across the country, from a streetscape project like what's going on here in Lancaster to a port improvement project in Miami and everything in between. I think it's really important to be out on the ground, talking with local leaders, community members, and importantly, the workers who are getting the good paying jobs that this creates, whether we're talking about construction workers, and you're going to see a lot of construction, we already are this summer, or the manufacturing workers like the Cleveland Cliffs folks who are making all of this, literally making the infrastructure happen. That's really where you get a sense of where the needs are, how to keep the programs running, and how to make sure I can go back to President Biden and keep him informed about what this infrastructure package is making possible.
Definitely. Now, speaking of road and safety travel, what would you say as summer is, kicking off to residents on the road in Pennsylvania?
Well, look, we're expecting record-breaking summer travel. We've already seen records fall in terms of the number of passengers getting on airplanes. Same thing if you're behind the wheel. Really important to put safety first and to know that there is a lot of construction going on. There may be detours and diversions. We know that creates some inconveniences, but on the other side of that, a huge benefit, because America has needed these infrastructure improvements for decades. It's one of the reasons why one of my first visits to Pennsylvania as secretary was with Senator Casey to highlight some of the needs here. And it's very gratifying now in my fourth year to come back and see how those needs are increasingly being met.
And speaking of needs and improvements, some residents in Pennsylvania have expressed concerns on bridges and railroads. What would you say to those residents this morning?
The basic answer is help is on the way. We see the condition of our railroads, our bridges, our airports, you name it. They've gone 30 or 40 years without the kind of investment they need. Lots of administrations, including the last one, talked a big game about an infrastructure bill, couldn't actually get it done, but now it's happened. President Biden signed that bill on the south line of the White House, and of course what matters is not a piece of paper getting signed in Washington. What matters is safer streets in Lancaster, workers getting jobs in Steelton, better airport in Harrisburg, and all the other projects we're doing across the Commonwealth.
Thank you so much, Secretary. My last question for you. Why do you think it's so important for officials like yourself to make these stops in rural communities and see what's going on?
You know, when you're in a job like mine, especially one that's about transportation, you can't do that job behind a desk all the time. There's a lot of important work waiting for me at my desk in Washington. I'll be there shortly, but you really got to get out there, talk with people, understand the needs. I used to be a mayor too. I was comparing notes with Mayor Sirachi and the Harrisburg and Steelton mayors on how to do that demanding job. It's only gotten harder, and it's really important to make sure that we're out in the field helping people get that done.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Secretary, for joining us this morning on 27 Daybreak. Allie and James, I'll send things back to you in the studio. For now, live in Lancaster, Kayla Schmidt, ABC 27 News.